What's up, esports fans? This is ZeeOne with the fourth game between lastshadow and adelscott, and this is the GosuCup semis, of course. And I'm just jumping into this game in the 4-minute mark so I can skip these players have done the standard build saying, and just jump right into the game, into the interesting part. So it looks like we have got that warp gate tech going on for adelscott right now. Good move that. This is 4 minutes in, of course. Standard openings from both players, nothing special. We've got two assimilators up for adelscott going gas heavy. On the other side of the map, we've got lastshadow opening with the racks first, throwing down the tech lab nice and early. He did get a marine out to chase out a probe, but nothing much. Looks like he has got a reaper as well. These reapers so effective in scouting this particular map. And look how he's just going to sneak in the back here and take out one or two of those there probes. There's one. And that Reaper clocking up 2 kills, and before it, can it get a third? No, it cannot. That Sentry's dealing with it quite effectively. There's no Stalker out for him just yet. There's the Stalker coming out now, so that might help out a little bit. Looks like from adelscott over here, he's going to be throwing up a robo facility. And he did just cancel out another warp gate, so instead of a second warp gate, going to be going the robo. There's the gateway coming out now, and that warp gate technology almost done, so that's really helping him out. Looks like he's going to be keeping a stalker on the edge over here, just in case more reapers decide to come his way. Don't think there will be though. There's just that one weak reaper that might make its way to the grave as it approaches this here hill. Never mind, it's going to be working on those destructible rocks. Looks like lastshadow has got this natural of his up and running, so he's got all that underway, and he's going to be getting some marines and marauders in the mix. So here's lastshadow just throwing down some more mules, and looks like over here he's just going to be throwing out a lot of marines, going marine heavy this time. Of course, in the last game on Metalopolis, we saw the use of immortals just chewing up a lot of marauders, so maybe lastshadow this game wants to get a few more marines in the mix and help counter off against those immortals. Looks like Scott's ready for action, any kind of early push that we saw in Steps of War with these two sentries, so that's going to hold anything like that at bay. He's also got this pylon neatly placed over here, so he can warp in any kind of units down on the ramp if he needs to. But it looks like he's trying to secure a position here at his choke so he can expand a little bit. If I'm taking a look at his natural expansion, at his main at least, so we can definitely see that he's oversaturated those minerals, and he'll probably be looking at expanding right then. Look at that, I called it just seconds before it happened. But back in lasshadow's base, looks like we've got a little push going on, a couple marines, just a few marauders, and 2 SCVs. Let's see what he can do with this. Observer, of course, going to get a good look at this, and I'm not sure if lastshadow is going to spot it himself. Let's see if he manages to get it in time. He might start just working away at these destructible rocks that are already halfway down due to the Reaper that was picking away at it earlier. Let's see, he is working it, but of course lastshadow is not going to be alone for much longer as adelscott moves in to help take out this force of lastshadows. But let's see, he has to get a good position here, he has to get a good arc. He's not in the greatest position right now. He stims off, looks to take out the meat shield first, that little zealot, and he's doing alright here. He's distributed a lot of damage all over the place, but more units being warped in, and those stalkers are just picking away at those marines, and I don't think this force is as marauder heavy as lastshadow would have liked, and instead we're seeing a lot of stalkers and some zealots meat shielding it off. So back in adelscott's base, he's getting this early colossi. That's going to help out a lot. Probably going to see some extended thermal alliance research underway as soon as adelscott has enough gas. Looks like he's pulling off a little managed transfer on this natural that just got scouted out by lastshadow. So he's probably going to be throwing up a lot of gas on here very soon, and just to help out with that income. But here we got Marcoon. Now I'm going to throw up the production tab so we know what's going on. Looks like we've got a reactor and a starport going on for Marcoon, for at least lastshadow playing as Marcoon, beg your pardon. Marcoon, of course, just the European account that lastshadow is using in this GosuCup semi-final. And looks like that reactor is going down now, and there we've got the starport just doing the same switch on that reactor as we saw in that Zellnugget Caverns game. So will it work out for him? That is the question. Let's see what goes on. Looks like a lot of marines just popping out here, and there's something of a force moving across the map here for adelscott's base, but he's going to meet up again with his colossi that's just going to chew up his units. Looks like he's going to look to focus fire it down, but of course he's just going to cut it off and let the rest of the units take all those out. He does manage to take out the colossi, but everything else finishes them off. So that colossi doing its job and more effectively than I think lastshadow would have liked. And it looks like adelscott got a good bit of momentum here. He's got a good window to keep this natural nice and saturated, and he's probably going to be throwing up assimilators pretty soon to keep up with gas demand as he throws out more of these puppies. So he might want to look at getting that research once he's got that gas underway. Looks like we're seeing a 4th gateway from adelscott now, so he's got 4 gates of robo. He's well set for macro in this game. Let's see what goes on. So he's got a good position over lastshadow here. I can just pot him off over the edge. Lastshadow does have this factory sailing across, so that's going to help out with some scouting, but he's not going to make use of it just yet. He's going to hang out at his natural for now and keep this at bay. I think if adelscott were to push now, he may be in the money, but let's see what goes on. And I think that lastshadow might just know that adelscott's kind of got the lead in this game, and he needs to come up with something special. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's got 2 medvacs pumps up here. Let's see what he can do with that. He's sending them around the side, but at the same time we've got adelscott moving across the map, so if there's going to be a drop from lastshadow, it's got to be pretty soon, because that's going to start moving in on his natural. And I tell you, 2 marauders and marine aren't going to fare too well against this unit composition over here. But it looks like adelscott just wasting a bit of time here. He should have moved a lot sooner, and then he could have really taken advantage of lastshadow. But let's see what lastshadow can do here. He's going to be dropping off these units pretty soon. Let's see where he does it right then. Looks like we've got a lot of stalkers ready warped in to help deal with this force. Lasshadow's going to try to take out the stalkers, but the stalkers are going to very effectively cut off those marines and keep the focus fire off his main. But it looks like he is still going to lose a couple probes in that mix, but he is moving them away in time, so very effective. Looks like those medvacs getting taken out by the stalkers. Will that one medvac survive? It's going to just chill down in the canyon for now and not do much. It can't go anywhere, of course, so stalkers can really shut it down whether it goes left or right. But adelscott looks to be moving away now, so he's not going to be closing those off. Looks like this observer's got a good view of this natural of lastshadows here, as well as this unit composition that he's been macroing up all this time. So quite a few marauders in the mix. Taking a look at lasshadow's base, he's definitely got enough Raxes, 8 to be exact. That is a crazy amount of Raxes, and a starport in the mix too. So the starport Rax, I'm going to see Vikings, a lot of marauders, a lot of marines to try and take on this army. We're not going to see any tanks, which we haven't seen lastshadow use much at all. He likes to keep his force mobile, and he also likes to keep his SCVs well rested. But let's see what he can do here. There's 3 Vikings just chilling around, not doing much right now. They're going to be taking out those Colossi in a little bit. But it looks like we got another drop from lastshadow by the natural of adelscott. And adelscott instead this time just sending the probes in to attack those forces. Maybe not the best move. He's lost maybe a little too many probes, more probes than he would have thought, and that was probably the best possible thing that could have happened for adelscott, for at least for lastshadow over there. He managed to take out just about all the probes on adelscott's natural. So adelscott, maybe not an ideal move, moving his probes in there, and he should have just moved them back instead and preserve them. But if I'm just taking a look at the income tab, we can see just 17 harvesters off for adelscott now, and 51 from lastshadow. So just those 2 drops really putting lastshadow in the lead over here. Looks like we got that thermal lance going on for adelscott right now. It's just about done. He's not chrono boosted it. He maybe needs to use up some of that energy and maybe get some more probes out there. He's got a lot of energy in both his expo and his main. He needs to make use of it, but it looks like he's doing a little bit of a push here. Let's see what can happen. It looks like all those Vikings just a little out of place. They all get taken out, and this looks like it could be the GG. Of course, lastshadow does not have any medvacs in play right now. He does not have the ideal position, but it looks like adelscott is struggling a little bit. Maybe this sentry force field would have helped a lot over there, but none such of that play. It looks like those marauders just getting pot shotted off by these stalkers. Let's see what they can do. These stalkers are going to be taking out the rest of lasshadow's force here. He's going to be microing them backwards and forwards, maybe saving 1 or 2. Not working out so great. Looks like lastshadow, just because those 8 Raxes managed to hold off all these stalkers, and that's really helping him out. Looks like he's going to be expanding again with a command center, but look how quickly he can macro himself back into this game. But look at that, adelscott taking out all the workers here by the natural just to even up the score and the income. Almost no production underway right now. Both players a little strapped for minerals and gas at the moment. and we're probably going to see the mains run out of minerals pretty soon. Yep, there we go. Not much left in that. If I'm taking a look at adelscott's base, not much left in that either. A majority of his income is probably going to probes right now. Looks like those concussive shells only coming out now, so that's quite late for lastshadow. They would have really helped out, particularly in that last fight. But let's see what he can do here. It looks like he's throwing out a lot of medvacs to help support this marine marauder force that's going on over here. Let's see the lastshadow, what he can do. He's got to put some probes on this gas, get some gas income, but he is low on the minerals so much. But he's probably going to be looking at expanding at these rich minerals if he possibly can. Neither player really has a window to expand right now. Both players very vulnerable. They're not capable of amazing macro because the economy constraints that they put themselves under. Adelscott, of course, sacrificing all his probes earlier, really not helping him out. But it looks like we're going to see a drop of some kind coming in from lastshadow from the side. Let's see what goes on over here. It looks like he's moving in, and he's probably going to be dropping right next to this here robotics bay. There we go. Come on, drop. Oh, it's been scouted already, and already adelscott has all his forces there. Of course, lastshadow got to see that from this factory, so he's going to move out. He doesn't want to sacrifice too many units at this stage of the game, because if he does, he's really screwed. This force of adelscott can just walk in and take out anything that he might have left after that drop is dealt with. But it looks like lastshadow might be doing a dual attack here, going in from the front with a lot of marines and marauders and a medvac or two, and doing a drop in the main here with marines and marauders too. So let's see what he can do here. Looks like these marines marauders don't stand hope. They just got walled in by those force fields. They're really well played by adelscott. They're great positional play. But on the other side, we got lastshadow doing this drop over here. Maybe not as well timed as he would have liked. Looks like he's going to be looking at taking out this rover fast and maybe picking up the units and getting the hell out of there. Needs to get out of there fast. Let's see if these blink would really come in handy for adelscott right now. But good little drop there by lastshadow. Just sacrifices off those two marauders and manages to preserve his medvacs, carrying the rest of the units. So those two marauders took two for the team. Good play there by lastshadow. But let's see what goes on. Looks like he's going very marauder heavy right now to help deal with this stalker army. There's obviously not too many immortals in the mix, given that they cost quite a bit of money, and I don't think adelscott will really get bang for buck if he starts getting marauders. So stalkers are definitely the way forward, and marauder are the counter. Let's see what goes on over here. This little clash at this chuck could mean everything. Now a tank would come so handy just over there for lastshadow at this point of the game, but of course he does not have a factory. Well, he does, and it's in the air, but not a factory with a tech lab at least to be able to throw out those there tanks. Looks like he stims up, moves through, and he could get badly separated there. Yes, he does indeed, by the force field. Maybe getting a little too eager with the stim over there. And of course that Colossus just wreaking havoc with that extended thermal lines. Looks like there's no more Vikings in the sky to take care of that Colossus, despite only being on 24 HP. But both players are going to back off. They don't want to suffer too many heavy losses right now, as their econs are under heavy pressure. Both are operating off just one base on both sides, and even adelscott's not saturated his natural just yet, so that's not working out for him right now. Looks like that Colossus did fall, but we're seeing a push from lastshadow here, and it looks like he managed to squeeze his units out of those force fields, and he's really tearing up adelscott's forces over here, taking care of those stalkers and sentries that are left over. Looks like that final stim is going to end this particular fight, and perhaps the game, as lastshadow gathers a lot of momentum here. Let's see what goes on, and it warps in just a couple more units as a last ditch attempt, but there's a GG from adelscott.